Phoebe Bell Cates was born on July 16, 1963, in New York City. She started her career as a model before making her acting debut in the early 1980s. Phoebe Cates, known for her roles in 1980s films like Fast Times at Ridgemont High and Gremlins, faced some controversies, including criticism for her role in the film Paradise and her decision to step away from acting to focus on family and her boutique. Paradise. Controversy. In 1981, Kate starred in the film Paradise, which involved full frontal nudity and other scenes that she later regretted, stating she learned never to do a movie like that again. She also claimed producers used a body double for nude close-ups without her knowledge. Paradise marked the acting debut of Phoebe Cates, who was 17 years old at the time of filming. Cates reportedly felt uncomfortable with the level of nudity and the film's direction, and she refused to participate in any promotional activities. For the movie, co-star Willie Ames, who was also involved in the film, stated that Cates was really upset by the film and worried it would ruin her career. Bikini scene in Fast Times at Ridgemont High, 1982. One of the earliest and most iconic moments associated with Phoebe Cates is her scene in Fast Times at Ridgemont High, where she emerges from a swimming pool in a bikini. The scene, though famous for being part of a comedic and sexually charged sequence, became a defining moment of Kate's career. In the movie, her character, Linda Barrett, takes off her top to reveal her bikini and provides a fantasy sequence for the character played by Judge Reinhold. The controversy surrounding this scene was tied to how it cemented Kate's role as a sex symbol in Hollywood, even though her role in the film was more complex than just being a pretty face. The scene caused a stir due to its sexual nature, and for a long time, it was considered one of the most iconic teen moments in 1980s cinema. Many critics and fans have reflected on how this moment seemed to define her career for a while, which sometimes overshadowed her later, more serious roles. Some critics argue that the scene, while iconic, contributed to the typecasting that Cates would face in the years following, as Hollywood often struggled to see beyond her bikini-clad image. However, Cates herself has described the scene as one that became out of proportion compared to her actual work in the film, which was more about portraying the trials of adolescence, typecasting, and her struggle with Hollywood's expectations. After Mount, her breakout role in Fast Times at Ridgemont High, Cates was thrust into the spotlight as a teen idol. However, the image she cultivated early on was one of a sex symbol, which led to being typecast in similar roles. This has been a point of contention for Cates. She was often cast in roles that leaned into her physical appearance rather than her acting abilities. Many of her subsequent films, such as Private School, 1983, and Paradise, 1982, were aimed at the teen market and often featured her in similar roles to that of Linda Barrett, perpetuating her image as a hot girl. Cates eventually sought roles in films that would allow her to break free from this typecasting, including Gremlins, 1984, and Drop Dead Fred, 1991. These films allowed her to show more range as an actress, though she never truly escaped the shadow of her earlier roles. Departure from acting and decision to retire. Perhaps one of the biggest and most personal controversies associated with Phoebe Cates is her decision to step away from acting at the height of her career. After achieving significant fame in the 1980s and early 1990s, Cates chose to leave Hollywood and retire from acting in the mid-1990s. Cates cited wanting to focus on family and personal interests as the reasons for her decision to step away from acting. She married actor Kevin Kline in 1989, and together they have 2 children. Later, career and comeback attempts. After her retirement from acting in the mid-1990s, Cates made a brief attempt to return to the film industry in the early 2000s. She appeared in the film The Anniversary Party, 2001. Despite her brief return to acting, Cates once again chose to focus on her personal life and her business interests. In 2005, she opened a boutique called Blue Tree in New York City, which specializes in home goods, clothing, and accessories. This marked her entry into the world of business and entrepreneurship, further distancing herself from the acting world. And from public attention, Cates has managed to maintain a sense of privacy throughout her life, and this has contributed to her image as a somewhat enigmatic figure in Hollywood. Though she was once labeled a sex symbol, she has always strived to be seen as an actress in her own right, not just a pretty face. In the end, her legacy as an actress is likely to be more complex than the image of the bikini-clad starlet of the 1980s.